101.1 FM. It's 10 minutes into the 9 o'clock hour. Oh no, it's 11 minutes actually right now. And thank you for joining us on X-Ray today. Okay. Yeah. I'm excited. So much so that I feel like I'm stuck for words right now. But then let me just introduce the one and only Oikeke Igadokure on the program this morning. How are you doing, ma'am?
Fine, thank you. Are you excited? Is it because of the weekend or because this is the last Friday of the year 2017?
You see, there are so many things to be excited about.
Thank God we made it.
Well, yeah, we did. I mean, today's the 29th of December 2017. Officially the last Friday for the year. The last Friday where we get to anchor the last of X-Ray for this year. Yeah. So I'm basically excited over that though.
Yeah.
And plus, Okeke is really looking so beautiful today. You know, I wish you could like stand and give us like an entire look, but then it's okay. We won't do that on the show.
All right, thank you.
All right, so today we have decided, being that, I mean, yes, like we've just pointed out that this will be the very last edition of X-Ray for this year. We want to try our best and look at this entire year 2017 in retrospect. Not necessarily focusing on one area, but then we are trying to see the major events that more like shaped, that defined, or things that affected us as individuals, as humans, as citizens of Nigeria in this particular year 2017. There's been enormous, you know, events and situations and conditions in politics, the economy, so many things. I don't even know where to begin. But then on the program today, we will give an opportunity to all callers to call in and share their thoughts with us and tell us exactly which of these events marked anything, meant anything to them, and possibly, I mean, what they're looking forward to in the coming year, which is just a few days from today. However, we begin, you know, from some of the things we have narrowed these situations down to. We begin with the poor standard of education and illiteracy in Nigeria. There are so many reasons for that, but then education has been one major thing that's been talked about a lot in this year, especially looking at the fact that there has been an ongoing decline in the educational system in Nigeria. Now, the majority of the reason basically is corruption. I mean, there's virtually nothing we'll discuss that will end up not bringing in corruption. But then again, there's also irresponsible leadership in government, according to some. It says here that more than half the women in Nigeria can neither read nor write. However, the situation with the male population is a bit better. However, the quality of literacy among the ones that can write and read is very poor, and a lot of people are without proper skills to do well in the society. And that's basically a leading cause of the low standard of living and high dependency in Nigerian society. What do you think about this?
Well, I'm glad you're starting with education, because education is a lot of people have called education many things, but it's like the engine room, the oil that drives the economy. Our lives as a people, the life of a nation as a people, could be dependent on the quality of education that the people have. Because if you look at the negative effects of illiteracy, you cannot even exhaust it, from issues of security, issues of dependencies, and so on and so on. So when a people do not have access to quality education, or cannot afford the education that is there for them, then it becomes a big problem, especially when you talk about the future of that country. All right, and then here we are in Nigeria in this century, and then we've been recorded as one of the nations that have the highest out-of-drop school children. Yes, our children, if you look at the statistic globally, our children are the ones that have dropped out more. And it's unfortunate for a nation who is so blessed with natural resources and all that. And I think the problem that we've been having over time is the problem of resource management, right? If we had managed our resources the way we should manage them, if we had taken out corruption out of it, and we know the importance of education, and monies that have been appropriated and budgeted into Nigerian education sector from the beginning have been used appropriately, I'm sure we will not be where we are. But here we are today, where majority of the people are poor, and parents can hardly even send their children to school. All right, a lot of children are out of school because their parents can't send them to even the government schools that we expect not to be too expensive. All right, so what can a people do? And if you look at one of the major problems, the major issues that we have in the Northeast, is because a lot of the young men and women, especially those at the adolescent stage, the youth, they are on the streets without any formal education. All right, so, and because of that, these people become very vulnerable. They become targets for
but aside having dropouts and all that, another issue has been the quality of teachers. I mean, we've just had the recent sack of teachers in Kaduna State, that got a lot of people talking from all corners. I mean, the quality of teachers has been a problem as to the quality of children that come out of schools. Children, students, and even adults.
Yes. If you talk of quality of teachers, it's also as a result of these things that we're talking about. Why do we end up with teachers that are not qualified? It's as a result of bad leadership and governance to start with. How do we ensure that we have quality teachers? We have state governors, especially, I'm sorry to say, who don't even care about the education of the generality of the people. These are governors who don't pay salaries to teachers.
To the workers.
All right, to teachers. These are governors who don't care about the education, the facilities, the infrastructure of education, where you see students sitting down on the trees in some parts of this country, or where you go to, where students go to school under dilapidated infrastructure. All right, so all these things do not give room to good quality of education. When you don't pay teachers, and then you have made it in such a way that teaching profession is no longer attractive, or is not attractive to people, and people become teachers because they need to earn some small monies. And even when they go into teaching to earn those small monies because they don't have jobs in other places, you still don't even pay them this money. So how motivated are the teachers? They are not. And so a teacher that is not motivated may not be able to bring the best that is in him or in her. A typical teacher in Nigeria, the primary and secondary school teachers, even the universities, they have other things that they're doing to make ends meet. Because if they don't do that, they may not be able to send their children to school, they may not be able to feed their children, and they may not be able to do other things. So these are the issues.
Well, definitely the Nigerian education sector has got a lot of problems in it, and well, hopefully let's see what happens to it subsequently. Now, the level of unemployment keeps rising day after day. The deep recession from sometime last year up until this moment, well, let me not say this moment, because they've come out to say that we're out of it. It's just that, the ordinary me and you that keep the normal ordinary Nigerians are still facing challenges, situations, things that make us to wonder and actually ask, are we really out of it? But then technically, or on the papers, they say we are out of it. But then that happened, so many people were laid off, to add to the already existing numbers that we cannot, actually even begin to say. Because I have come across very, very conflicting figures when it comes to the rate of unemployment in Nigeria, with much focus on the youth, having the higher percentage of people without job. I mean, people who are actively searching for a job. Now, this is another thing that has colored this particular year. I know people who have lost their jobs from last year and are still, searching up until this moment.
And unfortunately, they may even search longer than now. Because when the recession came, I mean, when this administration came, there was a lot of hope by Nigerians, because Nigerians said, look, we need the change, because people were tired of being burdened by issues of poverty, issues of corruption and all that. So there was this high expectation. But somehow, unfortunately, when this administration came, a typical person on the streets only knows suffering, you know. They believe suffering increased as a result of extreme poverty. And with the recession, well, I'm not an economist, so I don't know how we got to that stage, but I think it was because of economic policies and plans. All right, but then we got to that stage, and when we got there, a lot of people lost their lives. I mean, sorry, their jobs. Of course, when some people lose their jobs, is as good as losing their lives, because there's nothing for them. Some people were without a job. What am I going to do? Because when you have a family, or even if you can't even feed yourself, then what is life about? You cannot feed yourself. You cannot accommodate yourself. You cannot help other people, and unfortunately, a lot of people have dependents. You know, when you are here, you're a family man, and then you have children, and then you can't send the children to school because you don't have a job. Or when your child is sick, you can't send the child to the hospital because you don't have monies. And then, so what do you do? Life becomes a little meaningless to you. But a lot of people lost their jobs, and then we have. I mean, every day we hear about programs that are there to create an employment creation. I'm sorry to say, in Nigeria exists more on the pages of the papers, because a lot of times you hear government officials saying we have created so number of jobs. We've created so number of jobs. But by the end of the day, you're wondering who are the beneficiaries of this job creation, because majority, if you talk to 3 persons in Nigeria, 2 of them may be out of job. So you're wondering, and then again you begin to think, what about those schemes, that economic schemes that are available, that can lift people out of, or even encourage people to be able to even do their own businesses by themselves. So the environment is not very conducive, and people cried a lot in this year 2017. But we're hoping that by the end of the day, because the president has even acknowledged that 2017 was the worst, or was a very difficult year for Nigerians. So that was coming from the president. But then he predicted that 2018 would be better. But a lot of Nigerians are saying that it's not only about saying 2018 will be better. What are those policies and those plans that you're going to implement to ensure that Nigerians are lifted out of this trap of extreme poverty, lack? So those are the questions.
Yeah, I mean, this unemployment is something that has been existing. I mean, if you remember the infamous scuffle 2014, you know, where so many people, at least about 16 people, lost their lives as they were all desperately trying to, you know, find their way into some vacancies that, you know, was available in the Immigration Service of Nigeria. That was in 2014. That goes to show the mindset. Many Nigerians, especially the youths, you know, the mindset we have about certain kinds of jobs. So many people are focused on jobs that, you know, are being created and provided by government, and they feel, hey, it's better than being in the private sector and all that.
Yes, because even the private sector, a lot of people still can't even get jobs in the private sectors, because most of the private organizations are also filled up. But of course, a lot of people believe that working with government has job security. You don't need to worry. You may not lose your job anytime because it's government, and then you are sure that there's job security, which is fine. But you know, that incident is one of the things that have shown and have exposed the situation of things, especially that it has to do with job issues. If you open your mouth now and then you ask for and you just said, okay, there's an opening somewhere here. Maybe you just need 1 or 2 persons. You will pack application letters in boxes. That's how things are. You pack in boxes. So you begin to wonder, how can we end this? And especially because now I think a lot of people want to even work for themselves, entrepreneurship. But then you see here issues of where the environment is not very favorable, there's power issues,
and at the same time, so many people are flooding a particular line of job, so to speak. For instance, you talk about tailoring. There are so many people who have flooded that market already as we speak, and more people are going into it. That's like one thing with Nigeria. I do not understand why, but then once someone comes out and say, hey, why don't you do this, and they begin to see that, oh, it's actually working, and then everybody's attention is directed there. And I think it comes with some consequences as well, because what happens if everybody does tailoring now? Well, I think no one would end up making any money from it, because everybody would make clothes for themselves. Those who go into makeup and all that, is there a way perhaps that individuals can also still think of creating other things aside the already existing markets?
Yeah, it's possible, and that's why both government, non-governmental organizations, individuals, we are supposed to begin to think out of the box. All right, government and all stakeholders, including us, we're supposed to begin to enlighten ourselves in such a way that we can begin to think inwards and look around more and know those areas that are untapped. There are a lot of areas and sectors that are untapped in this country. A lot of sectors have not really been opened up. So it's for us to now begin to tell ourselves that, look, there's a need to look inside yourself and look around too at the environment and see what are those things that are virgin, what are those things that are there that we can begin to tap inside, what are those things that have not really been exploited in such a way that they can benefit the people. There's a place for that.
Okay, well, let's see how we will actualize that in days to come. Another issue is the insecurity and insurgencies. We have the Fulani, the herdsmen, the militancy, widespread and kidnappings, and of course the Boko Haram. Recently, there's the call for money to be withdrawn from the excess crude account that has got so many people talking. Whether or not the war has been won with Boko Haram, however, there is a need for that much amount of money. Now, insurgency and insecurity is something that has also been a part of us throughout this year.
It was a bad time, all right. But though we also need to acknowledge that Boko Haram insurgents have actually been subdued by the military. You remember there was one time in parts of the country, especially in the northeast, where they were fully in charge and they had their flags stationed. They were in control of some areas. But as we speak, we're made to understand that that doesn't exist anymore. Nigeria as a nation have taken over all his territory and has collected it from these people. So I think that's a plus. So when they said that the war has been won, I think they're thinking about that. But of course, we still have skeletal bombings here and there.
People still blowing themselves up.
Yes, people are still blowing themselves. And then another dimension came in where children and women are the ones being used now. Women and children are the ones the whole world has been crying for. Look, this group of people needs protection. All right, but they have become a source of worry now. An unfortunate incident happened when a young girl was entering into an IDP camp, and she was shot because now they use people like her to bomb and kill people. So women and children, these people devised another means to use the most vulnerable in the society. So they're using women and children to bomb now. And so even though the fight has been won in that sense, but people are still dying as a result of bombings. But it's a guerrilla war. You don't expect, it's not a war that, okay, the Nigerian military and these people come face to face, and then we can say, okay, we can use our military might to defeat them. But it's a guerrilla war, so it's pretty difficult to just tarnish immediately or just finish immediately like that. But then there is a need for our military, our security agencies to be well equipped. We have had issues where we are told that the Nigerian military, the Nigerian police, and all the other agencies are not properly equipped and prepared to face the security challenges that we are having. All right, we have issues of corruption in most of these places where monies that are budgeted for ensuring that we are well equipped with the right machineries are taken by private persons. And then leaving the home military and boys on the field almost like bare hands, fighting people who are very motivated and who are very equipped to fight them. So these issues are issues where military men, the boys, are not paid their allowances as at when due or completely. You know, you have a military that is not very, very motivated in that sense. All right, so but there's a need for us to depart from that. Coming 2018, we expect things to change for better. Like the $1 billion that has been approved by the governors, it has generated a lot of controversies, really. And what Nigerians are saying is because Nigerians have seen and discovered and realized that most of the monies that were budgeted for this kind of issues never got to, you know, solve these problems. Because especially like the past administration, where we hear monies that were budgeted for arms were being shared into private accounts and for political campaigns and all that. And now, because political campaigns are here again, Nigerians are skeptical that probably, you know, this money,
it may be a repeat of what had happened.
This is what they want to do with the monies. And that's why I was saying that if government can make the people trust them, things might just get better. And how do you make the people trust you? By doing the right things, by ensuring that you come out with plans and policies that are implemented in such a way that people begin to touch better life. People begin to physically, one-on-one, know that my life is now better as a result of this.
Okay. On the list here again is the infamous mass exodus of Nigerians to other countries, especially, I would like to call it the Libya movement. I don't know. So many of Nigerians have been, you know, part of the repatriation process. A lot of, I mean, scores, numbers of Nigerians that have been forced back home, as some of them claim they do not want to return. I don't understand that. But then some too who are back will tell you it was, you know, like living in a really, really bad place. So many things have been attributed as to why there has been this large number of migration, you know, people moving away from Nigeria for some reasons to other places they believe will provide them with greener pasture.
That's it. It's quite some big trouble, because a lot of Africans and a lot of Nigerians have lost their lives as a result of those kind of migrations. A lot of times Nigerians, they're dying, I mean, the sea consuming them all the time, but what can we do? These things have been going on for a lot of times, but then people have not been able to end this kind of migration. And why? Because people who are migrating in such a way that they are not even afraid of losing their lives, why are they even doing that? And then a lot of times people say it's because of poverty, it's because of this, it's because of that. But will poverty make you to just lose your life in such a way that you, I mean, things shouldn't get really that bad? But they're saying, okay, it's because there's no job, it's because there's no job, it's because there's no this, it's no. Do you think that Nigerians should allow themselves to be treated and killed in such a way that I don't know, Ruth?
Well, this is these are some of the stories, some of the events that have actually marked this year for many of Nigerians, I want to believe. However, if we are yet to touch any, I'm sure the fuel crisis would definitely be among the list and many others. But like I said earlier, we'll give you an opportunity to get a call in and tell us exactly which of these stories, not necessarily the ones we talked about, but then what event really stood out for you in this particular year, as we, you know, have the very last edition of X-Ray for this year today, this Friday. You get to call in and share your thoughts with us, but we'll have to go on a quick break at this point. When we return, we'll open up the phone lines and then you get to call in. Stay with us.
events within the country and around the world. Join us on the Vendors Corner as we run down all the stories making the rounds on our national dailies. Vendors Corner on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting. Rights and limitations of
FM. Today on the program we're going in retrospect 2017 in retrospect, and so we're trying to take a look at issues that have been a major or have played a major part or role in the country, especially in this year. And it's about time for you to call in and weigh in on the situation. Let's hear from you. Which of the events, what really has marked this year for you, whether good or bad or somewhere in between? Just share your thoughts with us and perhaps what your hopes are for the coming year. The number to call is 081-8999-1011. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome to X-Ray. What's your name?
Yes, my name is Muhammad Kabir. I'm coming from Nikko.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah. You see, Quite alright, the year 2017 was the tougher one for Nigeria. And, well, we pray to Almighty God the year we are entering should be softer and the best for us. Quite alright, we've seen the up and down of our dear president in order to get this country working. But my question is it the only president or the presidency that we have to be called upon for the development of this country? If not, what about our National Assembly? What about them? This issue is not it should be something open. If they are working, we know. Those parts have been passed. They should now. We are advocating for fighting corruption in this country. They have not done enough. As far as their legislators, they have not done enough. Every parastatus like EFBI, that has to be powered. They should power them. They should create. We should see the raising motion about how we force corruption in this country. Tell me, the ministry that we are saying the issue of unemployment. Go around this ministry, let them give the thorough investigation. You still find that ghost workers above all those ones that we have seen. We still see numerous ghost workers. And in places that they are being replaced by either the head of the ministry or the head of the department. What are they? Then how the employment will be solved? Then how the youth will not go and get they will not engage themselves in evil deeds when we have numerous unemployment? And apart from that, then the environment. Let's talk of it. Nigerians are migrating from Nigeria going to abroad. When you have when they get there, the workers or what they are being engaged of, it is what we here in Nigeria, if we open the environment, we can do. Most Nigerians are not lazy. Even though they are educated, they are not lazy. But our leaders are not seeing what we are seeing, or they are not feeling what we are feeling. They will just get there and you just, somehow is baffling me somehow. Because sometimes somebody that is taught when he is there, at least this one is going to, just when you get there, the next focus or the next thing is how to pack our work for their self and their children. Well, this is the cause. We are in the change era and they should change with us. Okay. Or else, the future to come, it will not go on for all. Because when you keep pushing, when you push someone to the wall, it will go to face you back.
Okay, you need to wrap your thoughts up now.
So, with this, I'm calling on to all Nigerians. We should embrace the fighting of corruption. Then we see when we were able to deal with this tanker war, and Nigeria will come better. God bless Women Rights Radio. God bless Ordinary Ahmed Isa for his own fight against corruption. We are feeling it. And God bless our dear President, General Muhammadu Buhari. God bless Nigeria. Happy New Year in advance. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Muhammad Kabir there. 08189991011. Please let's try to keep our contributions as brief as possible, okay? Hello? Please stay away from your radio.
Hello?
Good morning. Welcome. What's your name?
My name is Suleiman Mikari.
Okay, I'm listening.
Oh, can you hear me well?
Sorry?
Okay, very good. I want to speak concerning about the education.
Okay.
Please, in Nigeria today, what we are facing, a lot of the problems in our education today, concerning about the teachers, as you people say, in Kaduna State, the chief executive, the governor of the health department, they say that that many teachers. Why? Because of what? The teachers are not able to give the requirements as the state needs. We thank God for that one that they have done. We have even seen as the governor and the executives of the state. They look at other states. They don't even care about the education of their people. They bought everything. And they are complaining, giving the reason to the teachers who will not be able to give the best when the teachers are looking for alternatives before they be able to earn their daily needs. if
Okay.
their day-to-day life cannot be saved, cannot be cared by the job they are doing.
Okay.
So I'm so worried. I'm so worried about Nigeria. They miss everything. They are blaming the teachers. But the teachers are the ones that change all other sectors that you think about today. Talk about the so-called politicians today. They pass through the education. The doctors, any other areas, specialization or discipline, pass through the teachers. And the teachers are collecting nothing less than 18,000 naira, so to say.
Okay, we have to let you go now.
Within 1 year, you see that it will got whatsoever I want. The car, houses, everything. But the teachers who will pass through is there almost about how many 36 years. So to call as you say
okay.
Before you
I have to let you go now, okay? I have to let you go now. Thank you for your contribution.
please.
Okay, we're supposed to try and keep it as brief as possible. 081-8999-1011 is X-Ray on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. And this morning, we are looking at events that went down throughout this year. If you want to be a part of the conversation, feel free to call 081-8999-1011 and let's hear which of these events stood out for you, why, and what your projections are for the upcoming year. Hello?
Hello?
Good morning. You need to turn off your radio.
My name is Jeff.
Your name is?
Jeff.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay. My own is that if you look, I go with the second caller concerning our education. You look at it that all the presidents, governors, senators we had in this country, they went through the public schools. And you see, like India today, Nigeria was giving aid to India. But India decided that, okay, let's open our school free. Anybody that you don't have money to pay your child in school, let the child attend to school, the government will sponsor. When the person graduates, any country you get work, you can be able to pay back to your country. Look at where India are today, where our people are not going back to India. So we're supposed to reverse our education so that at least when the education is reversed, all other things will move smoothly in this country. Education is the key of development in any country of the world. Without education, no country will progress. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you too. And thanks for keeping it really brief. 081-8999-1011. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, what's your name?
Oh, I'm Sunday, calling from Newcastle.
Sunday, please turn off your radio.
All right, I want to emphasize on this issue of security.
Okay.
This issue of Boko Haram, which has become politicized in Nigeria. Everything that comes to this country, they politicize it. And it is very bad for the economy of this country. The Boko Haram, people sponsoring Boko Haram are here in Nigeria, and they have not done anything about them. So the government should please try and fish out people that are sponsoring this Boko Haram. They are the politicians living here with us. And in Borno State, the executives in that state and the indigenous of that state, if they want Boko Haram to be wiped out, it will be wiped out. So Nigeria should wake up and do something about this Boko Haram issue. It is not about putting money into the system, which will end in the pockets of few privileged individuals. And the poor are here suffering every time talking about Boko Haram. Yes. These Boko Haram people are.
Hello?
Oh, this is where I end my information.
All right, then. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay. 081-8999-1011. Put your call through to us in the studio right now.
Hello.
Good morning.
Mr. Oshon for Alaska.
Okay, go ahead, please.
My take is on the Hazemen, planning Hazemen.
Okay.
It seems like planning Hazemen are being the part of President Buhari's regime because he has not been saying things against it. Even when he gave the speech during independence, there was.
Hello? Okay. I think we lost that call there, but let's see who's here. Hello? Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. Welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Sunday. I'm calling you from Abuja.
Okay, Sunday, I'm listening.
Yeah, so actually, I want to talk more on the economy itself.
Okay.
So for the economy, actually, I noticed this over dependence on petroleum and all the concern about petroleum. So looking at where we're coming from, I think it's time we go back and invest more in agriculture and see what we can get. Because even the resources we get now, so even from the petroleum is based on what we got before from agriculture. We neglected agriculture typically, and we depend on foreign donors and all this stuff. So what is government doing about all this? Yeah, so also on security, I think from my own side, security has improved tremendously over time. Looking at the overall structure of the government security, we have the issue of SARS to go or SARS should not go. That's not the problem. Either we might SARS with another body or not. I don't think we even have enough security now, but I think we should look at our structure now in Nigeria. Because if you look at the structure now, you see zero safety. You know what yourself. Why shouldn't we even go instead of road safety, instead of SARS? Yeah, so we should not just create an issue on employment again in the country. We can look at the structure and see what might and focus better.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my opinion. I don't know
All right.
on average with you.
Thank you very much for being a part of the program. All right. Wow, can we pick one final call? All right, I think that should just do looking at the time that we have. So in your final words, I mean, so many of the callers, have actually focused on most of the things we brought out. It seemed to be most of the things on their minds as well.
Yes. Education is very key when you talk about it. I heard that in the past, education was so good in Nigeria to the extent that students have been well taken care of.
You heard, meaning
Yes.
meaning you did not benefit from it in your time.
In my time, I didn't see those things that they said, where students are well fed, well provided for, and then when you finish from school, you're given job straight, or you're given
Plus a car.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
the
did
house.
experience that, and the house. So I'm wondering, at what point did we get to this point? Is it because we increased in number, and so resources is no longer enough for us to have the things that our fathers had in their time? Or is it issues of resource management? Have we been able to manage our resources in such a way that we can give ourselves what they told us? Or is it because we have not been able to manage our resources? Do we have issues of corruption? And that's what we've been talking about. Like I said the other time, if we take out corruption out of the system, most of our problems would have been solved. Like it is because of, and then I think we should begin to think for the nation. I mean, let's think of our country and ourselves more than our personal individuals. A situation where a few persons take monies that is meant for, like, for instance, education. Monies that are appropriated because you have the responsibility of managing that money. You take a chunk of it and put it in your personal account, and then the sector is left with poor infrastructure, and then you send your own children to schools abroad or private schools, while the majority of the people are left without being able to send their children to schools or affordable or qualitative education. So these are the things we're talking about. So if we rule out corruption out of the nation, we'll be able to have good medical services, healthcare. We'll be able to have education that is affordable and is of quality. right? We'll be able to have good roads, and our people will no longer be dying on the road as a result of crashes because of the bad, deplorable situation on the roads. All right, and then the list continues. So if we can sincerely tackle corruption, and corruption is not just with the leaders. Of course, the leaders are the ones who have the responsibility of managing the totality of the resources for the nation. But then even those that are being led, how have we been able to carry out our own responsibilities in such a way that we can say we are contributing to national development? The individual responsibilities that you have, how are you doing it? Are you also looking for those opportunities to shortchange your organization or shortchange the country? All right, we hear about civil servants, the things they do. All right, where people, there's so much corruption even from the first to the last. So it is not just the president or the governor or the minister. What about us? And I think this change will come if we decide personally to change our ways. If we continue to do things the way we've been doing them, we will keep having the same results. So individually, from the number one, from the president to the last person, should begin to do things differently. This administration should ensure that those who are found guilty of corruption, let's see an example this time, because in the past we've not heard of any minister or any governor in this country that has gone to jail before as a result of corruption. What we do know here is that you see a governor who has sat for 8 years in his state, and then after looting the treasury of that state, allegedly, he now retires and come and sit in the Senate.
And he continues on a different level.
So this thing continues. So no governor or any minister has been jailed before.
Okay, I hope our conversation will sound better and different from next year, though. On X-ray.
Yes, thank you very much.
Hopefully we would not, talk so much on all these things. Perhaps we begin to look at other possibilities, other policies that would really help uplift citizens of the country.
Now speak about those developments that we're asking for. We should be talking about, yes, this has been done. Lives have been changed in this way. Our health facility is now doing well. Our education facility, education is now thriving.
Because it's not like we just enjoy talking about things not working. We would love to talk about things working well and how it is benefiting every one of us.
Yes.
Well, that has been our package, the very last for this year, for this week on X-Ray. God willing, the next time X-Ray will be on your radios will be come January 1. But thank you so very much for sharing in all of it with us on Human Rights Radio. And many thanks to you, Oikeke, for wrapping everything up with us on X-Ray today.
Thank you.
Okay, and Queen Jane. Yes, it's so nice to have you on the other side as well. All right, my name is Ruth Usman, and many thanks to those who called in and those who listened in from their homes, their cars, the offices, or wherever you are. I'll be back in the 10 o'clock hour on Pro Bono Chambers. Do stay with us.